Hello. Happy Tuesday, everybody. Greetings, salutations.
What?
What's
Wait,
wrong?
why is that happening?
What's happening?
Okay.
What's going on?
It was playing again for me. I don't know what happened, but it's fine. Everything's fine.
You look perplexed.
I know, because all of a sudden that song came out of nowhere, and I was
That is bizarre. I was like, what is going on with Mock? What's happening? Okay, coming up on today's show, a new nickname for Kamala has been born. It's been birthed, you guys. Trump's team has a new ad about the great Kamala crash of 2024, which is great. Pelosi's brain, it breaks during an interview. Are we surprised or not surprised? And we're going to dive into whether or not Morning Joe actually knows how to pronounce Kamala's name. All of that and so much more on today's show. Make sure you're subscribed. God, I need more coffee. To all the things. chicksontheright.com/links is where you can go to do that. Click subscribe to all the things. Hi.
Can I take just a quick moment of personal privilege on two counts?
Always.
Mm-hmm. The first is, so far so good on the storm front for my area of South Carolina. Today, however, is supposed to be the worst day. And then there are rumors now that this storm is going to jump right onto my little area, go back out to sea tomorrow, get more water and more wind, and then come back. So
it's an overachiever. It's an overachieving storm.
That hurricane is drunk.
Debbie's like, I'm not done here. It's a woman scorned.
So anyway, please keep the prayers coming for South Carolina, for everywhere that's been affected and impacted by this storm. And the second point of personal privilege is a complete out of order. I know we never do this. We never do gifts at the beginning of a show, but I have to because I'm wearing it and I don't know who sent this to us. So, because I think you're going to get one too, you guys.
Oh my gosh.
They put glasses on you.
They did. How did they do that? And I don't know you.
I have a hat and it says it's going to be a long show and it just came from like the t-shirt maker. I don't know who sent it. So someone needs to take credit.
Right. Because we don't, in that graphic, we don't have glasses and a hat.
It's amazing, right? Like they did it so good.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh my goodness. And you didn't show that to me until right now. Like we did. No,
it was a total surprise.
And she just surprised me with that. I love it. Who sent that?
Who sent it?
Somebody did that?
Fess up because
show yourself.
That is amazing.
That is.
And I love it. I absolutely love it.
I love it too.
I know.
I love it.
And okay, then can I just do one more? Can I just do one? Because oh my God. So Nancy King she sent this giant letter and it says, "Hi, I've been following you and Amy Jo for a few years now. I look forward to spending time with you girls before I start my day. I have been a Republican all my adult life. I voted for Trump in both elections and will vote for him again. Keep up the good work. You inspire so many people. Love God, country, and family." And you guys, I cannot even tell this blanket. It is freaking amazing. It's all Georgia stuff. And it is,
oh my gosh,
the most phenomenal quilt of all time.
That is stunning, Mock.
Oh my God. I cannot
absolutely
even take it.
Stunning. So pretty.
Nancy King, that is
all right.
Too
Nancy,
much.
I'll check my box today.
Yes. All right. I'm sorry. I had to get that out of the way. Normally we do that at the end, but because I was wearing the thing, you know what I mean? I just had to get
people to be like, what's on your shirt?
Right. So anyway, thank you to whoever sent the shirt. And thank you very much to Nancy King. Just, oh my gosh, that's amazing. Amazing gift. Okay. Couple of things that you were 100,000 billion% right about. And that is JLo and Ben Affleck. Their Splitsville.
I think I called it at 6 months. So I was probably I think they lasted a year, but
Did they last a year?
They were probably done at 6 months. So I think I was actually really right, but they just like stuck it out for a year.
Just out of pure embarrassment.
Yeah. She's completely humiliated. Yeah.
I mean, and honestly,
I don't feel sorry.
She needs to do some self-examination.
Yeah, they both do. They both just need to stop getting married. They just both need to stop.
Just definitely to each other. Like, just enough already.
Just go to your corners and just get off of each other and just stop. Just be alone for a while. maybe for a long while. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right. Let me just kick off our little montage today with a couple of super stickers and Venmos from yesterday. Randy Craig sent this at the end of yesterday's show and I missed it. He said, 2 of my smart Dem friends vote on too many benefits for the rich, more benefits for the poor and disenfranchised, and abortion rights for all. And then over at the ball pit, Beba 1983 said, best line ever. This was yours. You can't be dumber. And then you said, you can be the people who vote for this bitch.
Sorry.
Said, yeah. Did you notice that some of those word salads she was actually reading? The work together one is scary. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some world goings on. So apparently, according to the Judiciary House Committee, there were at least in fiscal years 21 to 2023, at least 99 illegals on the FBI terror watch list who were released into our country after being arrested. And this is absolute insanity. So it's not only that they came, it's that we were like, oh yeah, you're a terrorist? Cool. Come back for your court date.
Yeah. And now they're just running around. They're running amok.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
yeah, this is our country. Yeah. And then Kamala will be like, nobody's illegal.
Oh yeah. I have that clip actually, because I was like, that's a flashback that we need to play.
Nobody.
Especially Stephen Miller, as he pointed out, it gets worse. 3 of the terrorists were admitted by Harris using that stupid fast pass entry phone app made just for illegals. It's unreal. And then yesterday, the Biden-Harris administration, they have put a pause on that whole program where they fly illegals from other countries directly into the United States out of an abundance of caution, because it looks like there's a bunch of fraud in the applications from those that are sponsoring the applicants.
You think there's fraud? There's fraud in you flying them, you idiots. Like the whole notion of this entire program is fraudulent. Like you're not supposed to do that. They're illegals. The only thing that you should be doing is deporting them.
Yeah.
Like the fact that they're putting them on planes and
bringing them here.
Am I the only one? I can't. This is absurd. All of this is, we're living in Absurdville is what I can't. Oh my God.
Well, and to your point, just a quick flashback of what Kamala said about this ridiculous vanity project of Donald Trump's, a wall. Here is what she said about said wall.
His quest to build a vanity project called the wall. This is irresponsible. It's the height of irresponsibility for the commander-in-chief to suggest that we have to build a wall across our southern border because there are terrorists who are trying to invade the country. It couldn't be farther from the truth.
Really? Liar? Because that's happening. And so what's irresponsible is allowing those people to come over and then hurt the American citizens that pay your salary. You stupid biatch. Like, how could she say that out loud?
I know.
And
it's incredible.
And think that's okay, because that's the lie right there, is that that's not happening. We're watching it happen. And just wait until something actually happens on our soil, because it's going to happen, you guys.
Yeah. I mean, in addition to all the murders and rapes that are already happening at the hands of illegals.
And then what are they going to do? Are they going to be like, it's Trump's fault?
Yes, probably.
Yeah, and the media will be like, yeah, it is. And we're going to be like, oh my God, like the guy, because they're going to do that. They're going to blame it. They're going to somehow twist, I don't know how, but they're going to do it. And then all of the lemmings, the lobotomized lemmings that followed these people are going to be like, oh yeah, it's Trump's fault somehow. What? Okay.
It is insane. Absolutely insane. But it's not insane, and that's dogs. Oh my God, dogs. So many dogs. And if you have a dog that has ever had itchy, rashy skin or toe beans, and they chew on their feet, or you notice that they're scratching a lot, they might have something that is very, very easily treatable with this magical preventative powder from Coat Defense. This stuff is the absolute bomb. You can use it as a treatment or preventatively, and it prevents against yeast and biome imbalances, which oftentimes send pet owners to the vet, and you end up putting your dogs on all kinds of hugely expensive antibiotics that they don't need. This is all they need. And this is a really good first try. So if you have a dog or cat or horse, for example, they've got the lines for all these animals. If you have an animal that is prone to having those kinds of skin irritations, like Miss Maisie, she's allergic to literally everything. And so she's always got something going on. You can use this in their ears. And it will also help prevent and treat some ear infections. This stuff is amazing. And they also have a line for humans that includes like deodorant, and it includes the shampoo, and they have shampoo for dogs as well. And what's great about it is that it cleans really well without removing oils that your dog needs, that you need. So it keeps your scalp healthy and your hair shiny. And it's got this kind of like citrusy smell. It's really, really nice. So you should try all of the stuff from Coat Defense. You can get 15% off of your entire order when you go to coatdefense.com and you use code coatdefense.com. Check it out.
I think we need to get rid of somebody in the comments. Rowback 09.
Okay.
Somebody's calling us two old bitter white bitches.
Thank you for the engagement. You're helping us actually make money. So we appreciate it.
Yes,
appreciate that.
Thank you for getting up this early in the morning to be a complete loser.
We also have some thanks to give out. Nancy King, there's Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
Says, Mock, the quilt was my pleasure. Daisy has one at the post office.
I will go there today.
Oh my
And thank
God.
you in advance. I cannot wait to see it. And I will show everybody tomorrow.
I mean, my husband is losing his mind over this. Like, it is so nice. So nice.
It'll match his pants. I mean, you even seriously, Ron has these like Georgia pants.
He does.
Little Georgias all over. Yeah, he's that guy. Mm-hmm.
He's got one that has G's and he's got one that has the dogs.
Of course he does.
Ken Burke or Berkey, thank you very much. Very generous. Laura Kate Baker, thank you. She says, hun, they used dead people's social security numbers, bogus addresses for sponsors for all these illegal aliens. Yeah. I mean, of course they did, right? And now they're like, oh, look at us. We're preventing fraud. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Morons.
And they're going to vote. These people are going to vote, which is, they're not supposed to do that. That in itself, that's fraud. It's crazy, you guys.
Layla's Life, thank you. She says, my little corner of the world in Illinois could use some prayers for this coming school year. In the last 4 weeks, 3 area towns have been devastated by untimely deaths. 3 14-year-old girls killed, a 14-year-old boy, and a beloved band teacher. Oh God, what is going on?
Yeah, that's awful. I'm so sorry.
Wow, that is awful, awful, awful. And then Sue R says, please pray for me from Arizona, visiting parents in Illinois. My mom is watching Morning Joe. She's a Democrat. Thank God I can listen to you all. Been listening since 2015. Love you gals. Take my money.
Have her listen to us.
Yeah, have her join you. Like, have it be a mother-daughter experience.
Right.
And maybe she'll start to see the light.
Give her some coffee. Yeah.
You probably heard that Iran, that there were U.S. personnel, U.S. service members were wounded in an attack against a base in Iraq. And this is, of course, escalation in the Iran war against literally everybody, but mostly Israel. And so I don't know what Biden intends to do as a result of that, because, of course, he and Kamala were nowhere to be found when this news was breaking. It was interesting, though, that as all of these plans were being made, because obviously we've been expecting that Iran would be hitting Israel in some big way over this weekend, over these next couple days. And so there was this big meeting in the Situation Room that Biden and Kamala were in. And then all of a sudden, as Peter Doocy reports, she was no longer part of the meeting. Here's what he said about that.
We've got a sizable motorcade repositioning on Pennsylvania Avenue, so it's possible that it looks like I can see behind the camera, the vice president's vehicles are leaving right now. So it would seem that at least her part in the Situation Room is done. She will now go back to the Naval Observatory.
It was an intense moment for the Commander-in-Chief of the United States of America, and I was in almost every meeting with the president.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that the meeting's over in the Situation Room.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't know.
I feel like
I don't know.
she looked like she was acting.
Well, because that was the one version of the wine mom where she gets really stern.
Yeah,
and she's fighting it.
She was in a skit. In that, it's just so ridiculous.
Then when Biden, I guess Biden was buying some flowers. He's very, very busy, you guys, very, very busy. So he came out of a store with a bunch of flowers.
Oh, okay.
And wouldn't talk to reporters except to answer one question that was screamed at him. This should make everybody feel really good about the leadership currently that we have.
President, do you think Iran will stand down?
What?
Do you think Iran will stand down, sir?
I don't know.
Great,
I've got flowers. I don't know.
Visiting
Angels, America's choice, home care. We're screwed, you guys. We're screwed. You know that.
And then there's all kinds of speculation about what is Israel going to do? Are they going to attack Iran's nuclear facilities? I mean, the rumors are that Israel has conveyed a message to Iran through a third European country that any attack that Iran engages in on civilian targets will be met with the immediate destruction of all of their nuclear facilities. And the U.S., apparently, people in the U.S. believe that that is the reason that there hasn't been an attack yet, that Iran is actually deterred in some way, which would be great. But I just don't know if it's realistic to assume that they're just going to hit the base in Iraq and that's it. You know what I mean?
Listen, it would be nice if somebody in the executive branch of our government would talk to us about this. You know, you would think if Trump were in office, he would have already had a press conference about this.
Or several. Yep.
Right. Or several. Absolutely. And we got nobody. We have no leadership. Nobody. It's it's remarkable what's happening in our government right now. It's crazy. Truly. We have nobody running the country.
It does feel like that. It feels like we're absolutely unled. And that as a result, everything is in chaos. I mean, there's so much chaos around the world right now. And then do you remember when there was all the discussion about UNRWA, that humanitarian relief aid network through the UN, when it turned out that a bunch of their humanitarian people were actually involved in October 7th.
Yes.
And we showed a lot of videos about that a few months back. And the UN should be dismantled completely. They're utterly useless. Not even just useless, they're dangerous. They're actually dangerous. And so finally, the New York Times verified the fact that like a whole bunch of those employees of UNRWA have been terminated because they did have participation. But look at how the New York Times spun the headline. They said the UN clears half the aid workers accused of taking part in October 7th, when the story is half of them took part in October 7th's attack. Like that's the story. And that they're like, well, listen, a bunch of them didn't. Oh my God. What the hell is wrong with the New York Times?
Yeah, I mean, half of them didn't. So we should be excited about that, right? I mean, half of them are like freaking terrorists, but half of them weren't. So, I mean, there's the bright side, you guys.
I know.
This is the thing. I mean, our media is trash. It's total and utter trash.
Don't hate them enough. You just
I know. You can't. You can never, ever loathe them.
Not enough. You just can't.
No.
Yesterday, we told you guys the story about RFK Jr. telling the story of him taking a baby bear cub, a baby bear cub who was roadkill, and planting him in Central Park to make it look like a biker hit him, and thinking that that would be hilarious. So the story is super weird, obviously. And now that I think it's the New Yorker that he was trying to get ahead of, they're reporting about it. He wanted to tell the story himself, thinking that somehow it would make him look better. And he's all like, spin this, New Yorker. Dude, there's nothing to spin. You're a psycho. Like, that's psycho behavior. Like, even when you tell it, it's psycho. Well, now the pictures are out. And he posed with this precious baby bear cub in the back of his car, making it look like he was getting bit.
Yeah.
This guy is a lunatic.
Well, I mean, you could take the boy out of the Kennedy compound, but you can't take the Kennedy compound out of the boy. You know what I mean? Like, he's a Kennedy. So aren't they all kind of psycho? Let's just get real. He's kind of escaped from that. I think he's tried to distance himself from the family. They're all freaking mental, you guys. They're Kennedys. They're all crazy.
Yeah, this is batshit. I mean, there's just no getting around it. If you are a person who is a fan of Donald Trump's nicknames for for everybody, everybody that he runs against, everybody that he is an opponent of, you're going to be very pleased to know that he has a new one. He has assigned Kamala a nickname. I don't have audio of it, so I don't know how he pronounces it, but I can at least show you what it looks like when it's written down. And that is this. Kamala. But her name is pronounced Kamala. So I would think it's pronounced Kamala, but I don't know because I don't know how he says it.
What is it? What does it mean?
I don't know. His nicknames never really mean anything.
Is it like blah, blah,
Ada Hutchinson? What the hell did that mean?
Well, what is it? Is it like blah, blah, blah? Like she just talks and talks and talks and it's like comma, blah, blah, blah. Is it that?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's kind of, that's the way
listen for it.
that's the way I look at it. Yeah.
That's what. If he's gonna do that, I kind of wish it would be comma blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like just take it to its natural conclusion.
That's what everybody's saying. It's comma blah blah blah. Okay. Well, now I'm seeing some people say that it's a play on Kamala and Obama together.
Well,
I don't know. It could be comma blah 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 or Kamala and Obama. I don't know. Could be either one. So we've got some different interpretations here, which are both valid. There we go.
Anyway, if you're a fan of the nicknames, then there you go. There is the newest addition to the roster of nicknames. And while the world was exploding yesterday, you should know that her husband, beta male Doug Emhoff, was very busy tweeting shit like this. Being an aspirational coffee blend was not on my 2024 bingo card.
He's just a beta noodle is what he is. Did you see that he was tweeting or doing something with his parents and he's like, I'm so glad for the unconditional love from my parents. Did you see that?
I did not.
In the midst of all of this, I boinked the
oh my gosh. Yeah. Seriously? It was about like he said it in relation to that?
Yeah, in the midst of all of that stuff. That scandal which nobody I guess cares about. He was like, my parents love me. Oh, okay. Good for you. Dougie.
Well done, you.
That's great. Okay.
I'm pretty stoked today because this afternoon we are going to be recording with our friend and sponsor of the show, Zach from Bulwark Capital Management. And it'll be released this weekend, but obviously we're going to talk to him about the market crash yesterday because and what it means going forward and how Japan had anything to do with it. We have so many questions. And he is our go-to guy when it comes to anything related to the markets, anything related to finances. He is the guy. And what's great about him is that he is willing to talk to any one of you about how your current financial portfolio is set up for retirement and whether it's set up in a way that makes the most sense. He can do a free consultation with you. He also does all these amazing radio hits and he does a seminar every now and then, which we usually promote on this show. But if you want to talk to him and just get personal attention and pick his brain about how you're planning for your own retirement, you can do that. You can just visit knowyourriskradio.com, get in touch with him there. And by going there, you're also going to get a copy of his free Common Sense Investing Guide, which is a great read. So check it out, knowyourriskradio.com.
Advisory services offered through Track Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor. Investments involve risk and are not guaranteed. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Track 24244.
It's my favorite.
That's my favorite too.
It's my favorite.
All right. I also need to thank Christopher Hayden, who says, good morning, y'all. Thank you very much, Christopher, for that. And then let's talk about that market crash because damn, what a day yesterday. I didn't realize that we set all kinds of records on the NASDAQ, particularly. You'll hear a little bit about how right here.
What some would call history in the making.
Scary, don't say that. We have never been down 1,000 points ever, not even intraday on the NASDAQ.
Is that true?
That is true.
Okay.
Wow.
Yay!
Don't look at, I didn't want to look. I still don't want to look. I just don't want to.
Do not look. It's just not going to make anybody feel good.
Nope.
What Charles Payne said was basically, remember how with Bidenomics and this administration, they're constantly trying to tell us how great the economy is, whereas regular people just existing in it are like, it doesn't feel great. It feels anything but great. And his theory is that this market crash actually is finally the reaction of everybody. It's the market reacting to what everybody already feels. Here's his take.
Frankly, they brag about things like the Inflation Reduction Act. That's stoking inflation. They brag about all the money that they're giving the world's richest corporations to build factories here. Well, guess what? We gave $8.5 billion in Intel. You know what we got in return? They're going to get rid of 15,000 workers. Is that smart? Is that really brilliant? Is that what we should be doing with taxpayer money? Stoking inflation and losing jobs? It's nuts. What you're seeing right now, the stock market, is what Americans have been feeling for the last 3 years. It's just a manifestation of it right now.
Yep.
Yeah, and all these people telling you not to worry about retirement and and this is no big deal and just stay calm, everybody. It's fine. They have their well, I'm saying the people the politicians that tell you this, it's fine, it's no big deal. They have their retirements paid for by us. They never have to worry about retirement. It drives me crazy. These people that get on these shows or whatever, and they're all they're federal freaking employees, and they will never have to worry about retirement ever. None of these people do, because we pay their salaries, we pay for their pensions. I'm never going to see a pension. I don't know what that is. We're small business people. We have to pay for our own retirements, as so many of you do. So if this stuff crashes, we're screwed. There is no backup. There's nobody paying my retirement except for me. I don't have a safety net. They all have safety nets. I'm the safety net for these people. You're the safety net for these people. Always. They never have to worry about a crashing economy because we're paying for them to retire. So it's easy for them to say. Drives me insane.
Well, and remember, this is the same administration who floated the idea of a capital gains tax. So, can you imagine if you got taxed for how well your portfolio did, up until yesterday, if you got taxed on that and then took this kind of hit, so what? Does the government pay you back for capital losses? Because that's how nonsensical the whole thing is.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
And now, we'll ask Zach for sure too. How is this going to impact interest rates? Because now there's a lot of chatter about the Fed realizing it messed up by not lowering interest rates sooner. And so now they might overcorrect, which granted, for a person who's about to get a new mortgage, that's good news. But I would rather take the high interest rates and not have my entire portfolio tank. So, because it's, you know what I mean? I'm paying for it one way or the other.
Right. Oh my God, you're going to pay for it 16 ways to Sunday. Right. What you're going to do. Yeah. Exactly. We just pay and pay and pay is what we do. Yeah.
Yep. And now there's talk that not only are we heading into a recession, but we might have backdated ourselves into one.
Not be surprised if a recession is ultimately backdated to either starting in July or in the current month, given where all the economic indicators are pointing right now. Things, frankly, are deteriorating very quickly. In addition to the revisions that you mentioned where payrolls were revised down, earnings were also revised down in prior months. So not only were there fewer people working, but they were earning less than we thought they were. Again, we are seeing a lot of indicators moving in the wrong direction right now.
Yeah, we're totally in it. We're in it. How can you not say, seriously, we're in it already. I don't know how you can say otherwise. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that we're like the frogs in the boiling water. So many people who are like, oh yeah, I'm with her. We want more of this. Thank you, ma'am. May I have another? That's where they're at. It's because they're in that boiling water and they just keep getting hotter and hotter and hotter. And they don't realize how much suck there is because they're so blinded by, I want to elect the first Black woman president. That would be really neat. I don't care how much suckage she's caused. It's crazy.
I mean, it is. It's just, and it's like, you can only laugh at it because if you don't, you're just going to throw yourself into a world of despair.
A spiral of depression. Right.
I'm just trying to pretend that it's not happening. Like, I'll tell you about it, but I'm not looking at my statements. I'm
not looking. Not looking. Just not going to look. Nope. Mm-mm.
The Trump Vance team released an ad pinning the market crash on Kamala, and I thought it was really, really good.
Here we go. Look at them go down. What some would call history in the making.
Scary. Don't say that. We have never been down 1,000 points ever, not even intraday on the Nasdaq.
Bidenomics is working. It's working.
The stock market just taking a big old nosedive this morning.
Dow Jones is down about 1,010 points.
That is called Bidenomics.
The Dow fell more than 600 points Friday on a weaker than expected jobs report.
5%, Meta 6%, Amazon 6%, Apple 9% down.
Bidenomics is working.
Fears of a recession began after Friday's disappointing July jobs report.
Bidenomics is working.
A rise like that is historically a sign that a recession is imminent.
This is Bidenomics.
What you're seeing right now in the stock market is what Americans have been feeling for the last 3 years. It's just a manifestation of it right now.
All that is called Bidenomics.
It's just unbelievable.
That's good stuff right
It's great. It's great stuff, but that stuff needs to be shared far and wide. So look for that ad, go search for it. You can find it in your Google machine. Go look for that ad and share it. Share it all over social media.
Or wait till after the show and share it right from our show.
There, you can do that. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I know we've played this video before, but it came across my socials again yesterday, and it was just such a stark reminder of what absolute idiots are in charge of things like the economy right now. And it was, I forget what his official title is. You'll see it on the screen, but this is Jared Bernstein, who is a chief economic advisor who has no idea what happens when the United States prints money and then borrows money. The amount of cluelessness is truly shocking.
Like you said, they print the dollar. So why does the government even borrow?
Well, again, some of this stuff gets. Some of the language that some of the language and concepts are just confusing. I mean, the government definitely prints money, and it definitely lends that money, which is why the government definitely prints money, and then it lends that money by selling bonds. Is that what they do?
Oh my God.
They sell bonds. Yeah, they sell bonds, right? Because they sell bonds, and people buy the bonds and lend them the money.
Jesus.
Yeah. So. A lot of times, at least to my ear with MMT, the language and the concepts can be kind of unnecessarily confusing, but there is no question that the government prints money and then it uses that money to, I guess I can't really talk, I don't get it. I don't know what they're talking about, because it's like, the government clearly prints money. It does it all the time, and it clearly borrows. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this debt and deficit conversation. So I don't think there's anything confusing there.
Yeah, this ignorance.
That's not AI. I just want to point that out. That is not AI. That is a real, honest-to-goodness clip of the chief economic advisor to Biden.
Yeah. It is an older clip. I've seen it. But it's like this ignorant fool is advising people on anything. But he's with Biden. And he advises people on things financial.
Right.
Okay?
It doesn't matter. Yes, that's why I said we've shown this before.
Yeah,
it's
we
old.
have.
It doesn't matter how
it doesn't
old it
matter.
is. This is a guy who advises on the economy.
Right.
Okay. It doesn't matter. Yeah. I don't care if it was 5 years ago.
Doesn't matter.
If he was still hired, that's a problem.
Right. And this is one of the guys that you pay for his retirement.
Yeah.
You're doing that. So this guy is one of the guys where he doesn't have to worry about any of this stuff because he's like, I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to sit here in this job. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I'm advising people, but I don't even know what's going on. I'm completely inept and I'm going to go ahead and suck from taxpayers. That's why we're in the position that we're in. He is a perfect example. Yep. That's why.
That's why I thought it just was good to have a reminder.
It is it's a great reminder because again, this guy is an idiot. We have idiots running the show.
Mm-hmm. The photo in the story, thank you. He says, disturbed Trump is attacking Brian Kemp again. Oh my God, really? Okay, that means he didn't watch Laura Ingraham last night because we have a clip from Laura Ingraham to play later in the show where she's talking to Victor David Hanson about that. I just hate hearing that. Nancy Pelosi has a new book coming out, and it's called The Art of Power. You gonna read it?
Oh my God. The fact that it's called The Art of Power,
right,
is disturbing. Hell no, I'm not going to read it.
Well, this is why I didn't realize, because I think we had a clip or two of her yesterday. And the reason that she's out and about so much right now is because of the book. She's trying to get the word out about the book. And she was asked by Dana Bash whether or not she has talked to Biden since the whole coup. I don't think that's the word that Dana uses, as you might imagine, but it is what happened. And so she wants to know how their relationship is. And Nancy had a little struggle answering that question.
Have you spoken to President Biden since he dropped out?
No, I have not.
Do you hope to?
Yes, I hope to.
Yeah.
One day.
Is everything okay with your relationship?
You'd have to ask him, but I hope so. But he knows. Look, I have loved Joe Biden, respected him for over 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, things are not okay.
Things
and you know
not
what?
Okay.
Things are not okay. And she also didn't write that book.
Exactly. There's no way.
Guarantee she didn't write that book. But
There's no way.
But they hate each other. She forced him out. She's a power hungry biatch, and she forced him out. And she was part of the coup, the cabal that forced him out, and he can't stand her. And they hate each other now. You know that's the case. Look at her.
You know it. You could see the lip smacking, the nervousness when she was figuring out how she was going to answer that question.
She's awful.
Awful. And there was also the moment, and listen, I am fully aware that I have had an actual stroke on camera. Okay. So I'm not trying to make fun of anybody whose brain breaks live on camera, as that did happen to me. But this is not a stroke. This is just Nancy. I don't know what's happening here, you guys, but I would not say that this is a stroke. Otherwise, I would not make fun of her, and I am.
Whether it's, it's the first bill, that protect our assault, our bill,
COVID.
Shots in the arm, money in the pockets, children in school, people at work, the infrastructure bill, building in a way that is respectful of communities.
I mean, she got there. It just...
Yeah, but Dana had to help her.
Yeah, she had to fill in the blank.
She totally had to fill in the blanks. She was not there. If she just would have let her do it on her own, we would have been sitting here for another minute or two.
You know what she needs to figure out is that she just needs to do this at whoever is answering her. Because this is what I do to you when I can't think of a word.
She needs a best friend is what she needs. And you know what? She's never going to have one because she's insufferable. She's never going to have a best friend because you know why? Because power. She's awful. She's a power hungry, awful, drunk fool is what she is.
Yep.
She's just horrible, that woman.
Just the worst.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Robin Zecca says this happens when you get your economic advisor from Temu.
So great.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Paula Johnson says today my dear mama is 95. God bless her. Oh my God.
So great.
And Missy Sanders says, will Trump have to drop out after accepting gifts from Adin Ross? He interviewed Trump yesterday. Yes, we're going to get to
that. Listen, and Lisa Mayberry Wilson, I was wondering the same thing. What is up with Nancy Pelosi's Flintstone beads? What were those? I was wondering the same thing, Lisa.
Maybe jen Psaki is her fashion advisor.
With the big necklace. But she used to wear those all the time and she doesn't do that anymore.
Kristen says it just gives her bigger pearls to clutch.
Is that? It's true.
But Missy Sanders does raise a good point. So we're going to talk about Trump's appearance on the Adin Ross live stream yesterday. It actually, I didn't because we talked about this happening, like a week or two ago, knowing that it was going to happen. And this was great because Adin Ross is an inexplicably humongous phenomenon, super wildly popular with the gaming streaming community. And when we played that clip of him a week or so ago saying, I'm going to have Trump on the live stream, like, that's cool. I didn't realize it was going to take place live at Mar-a-Lago. So that was cool, right? And there was even a bit of a studio audience. This is the moment that Trump walked in. So that was the moment he walked in. A very small, respectful little audience in the background.
Yeah. Is it a lot of young
were chosen?
Is it a lot of young people? I'm trying to figure that out.
It's a total mix. In fact, there was one woman who's like 1 billion years old, who's there, who's like apparently, in the wheelchair, who's like his biggest fan, and he took selfies with her and did all the things.
Are you serious? Oh my God.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I don't have that video, but I saw that video of him taking a selfie with her. It was really, really cute.
That's super cute.
And so early on, and obviously, feel free to go watch this on Adin Ross's channel. You should, if you want to see the whole thing. We've just got a couple highlights. This is kind of right out of the gate what he first said.
Here's a mug.
Right. We do not have the kind of money this guy does to do gifts. Okay.
My God, this kid is loaded.
So he gets him a Rolex. Here he is presenting the Rolex to Donald.
There's more.
No, this is the second present. So they're walking out so that Adin Ross can present. I mean,
I know it's crazy. And people are like, how did this kid make all this money? This is what they do now, you guys. He plays video games and people watch him and he makes crap tons of money. I mean, gajillions of dollars doing this. This is what these kids do these days. Right. It's like, it used to be that you go to college and you'd like get a degree and you go work at a company. No, not anymore. This is what these kids are like, online playing video games and people, and he gets sponsors, and this is what he does. And he makes gobs of money.
A couple people who know who the blonde kid is saying that his name is like a bunch of letters. XQC.
That's his name.
XQC.
And his parents not like him or something? What's going on?
Anyway, the guy's name is Adin Ross. It says it right at the bottom of his screen there.
Cute kid.
Precious. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. But it is remarkable that he is this.
It's not banned, so he's probably like, I'm going to use it. I'm going to use it in my campaign. And why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he?
So all the people on TikTok vote for Trump. Vote for Trump.
Now, I love it. I love all of it. I think it's great. He needs to do more of that, more reaching out to Gen Zers
for sure,
and millennials. You know what I mean? Just that younger generation he needs to reach out to, which is great. I love that there are young people who are wearing shirts with his face on it.
Yeah,
it gives me hope.
How much do you love this freeze frame of Claire McCaskill's face right now?
Look at the Nicole Wallace on the left. Is she okay?
I almost don't want to play this because I'm just enjoying everybody's face. Everybody looks awful.
I know they do.
Well, Claire McCaskill is mad that Trump went on that show, and she just thinks it's ridiculous. And here she is to tell you all about it.
I don't know who on the campaign thought it was a good idea for him to have this guy at Mar-a-Lago, and the guy gives him a Rolex watch and a new Tesla that's all wrapped in. I mean, this is really. I mean, I know we're all tired of the weird thing, but this is wacko. This is really wacko stuff for a guy who wants to be the leader of the free world.
Really clear.
And I don't understand what these supposed good campaign operatives that are running his show. What are they doing now? Are they just sitting in the corner sucking their thumbs?
Yeah. Okay. She's completely psycho, but it's okay for like George Clooney to all these other people who are online and they have these massive audiences because people are sick of the celebrities preaching to them. And this guy has a massive audience. He understands. And I love that he does. He's getting it. And he needs to do more of it.
Yeah.
Claire can suck it.
Claire, she's so totally wrong. Like for her to be like, what he's doing this is the leader of the free world, but it's fine to have Megan Thee Stallion like shaking her ass all over your stage. Give me a break.
Yeah, that's okay.
It's so ridiculous.
All right.
Unfortunately, Trump's legal troubles not over, and September is going to be a big month for him because of this.
This news breaking moments ago, the U.S. Supreme Court now refusing to delay former President Trump's sentencing in his New York criminal trial until after the election. Trump says he did nothing wrong and plans to appeal the conviction on all 34 counts of falsifying business records. He is facing possible prison time or a fine at the sentencing, now set for the 18th of September. So a little more than a month from now. We'll keep track of that from here. Meanwhile, you got another. What?
I mean, I guess that could be good because when he gets into legal trouble and it's obviously unfair, as this case clearly is, it helps him. You know what I mean?
Well, he raises money.
Right. Right.
Yeah, he raises money, and then he raises awareness for how this is just a political witch hunt, and people are like
trying to think positively about it.
You should, because people are I'm over this. Every time I see that crap, I just get a migraine. I'm so sick of this crap. You guys have to be sick of this crap. It's precisely what this is. It's all political. They can't
but it
beat
is
him.
Interesting that the Supreme Court is the one that made that ruling when the Supreme Court is constantly attacked by the left as being too conservative and too political. You know what I mean?
But the left says that all the time because they're not gonna be happy unless the Supreme Court is literally all liberal. And then they're gonna be like, even then it still won't be fair.
Yeah, we need to pack the court some more.
It's ridiculous.
Speaking of threats to democracy, Jamie Raskin, this video clip of him went around like wildfire on social media yesterday because he's basically threatening that if Trump wins, they are still going to prevent him from taking office, outright just planning an insurrection.
Put into the Constitution can slip away from you very quickly. And the greatest example going on right now before our very eyes is Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which they're just disappearing with a magic wand, as if it doesn't exist, even though it could not be clearer what it's stating. And so, they want to kick it to Congress. So it's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025 to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified. And then we need bodyguards for everybody in Civil War conditions, all because the 9 justices, not all of them, but these justices who have not many cases to look at every year, not that much work to do, a huge staff, great protection, simply do not want to do their job and interpret what the great 14th Amendment means. And I'm glad that Sherilyn's creating her new center so we can bring that.
So he wants civil war. That's what he wants because that's what he's going to get if he does that. If they do that, that's what you're going to get, dude. I don't think you want that.
I mean, he's calling for it. Essentially, he's inciting an insurrection.
You are correct. You're 100% correct, Mark.
So that seems like he should go to jail or something if the rules are the way I understand them.
Right. And it's not a good plan, Jamie. I don't think you want that.
Yeah, exactly.
And somebody asked, what is that on his head? I don't know. What is it?
I think it's his hair growing back after the cancer.
Well, okay. But I mean, but you can do it better.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can.
Yeah.
Earlier, the photo in the story sent us a super chat about how, for whatever reason, Trump is once again attacking Brian Kemp. He did not listen to Laura Ingraham's show last night because she and Victor David Hanson were talking about that and had this to say.
Georgia, it was a great crowd. Everyone's really happy. And then, some of it became about Brian Kemp, the Republican governor. And I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again. Shooting inside the tent right now of the Republican Party, that's a loser strategy. That's not going to work. They tried that in 2020, and we lost 2 Senate seats. Then in 2022, we had some more. It doesn't work. You got to focus on what they are doing to destroy this country.
Absolutely. Brian Kemp, whatever the disagreement, he's already endorsed Trump. So it doesn't do any good to go back and say that Joe Biden was the worst candidate in history because he's not running anymore, and people are starting to feel sympathetic. Yeah, they're feeling sympathetic for him because they don't have to have him around after January. So don't waste time on Brian Kemp. I wouldn't even get into the past history, personal history, or
waste of time
of Kamala Harris. I would just say that she is flipping in a very opportunistic fashion just to get elected, and then once she's elected, it's the Obama 4th term, and you know what that's like. And if he sticks to that in those swing states, and and J.D. Vance, there's no more articulate person that can make that case, they will win. But if he gets off on these tangents, I'm worried.
Same. I am also worried.
I know, and people are saying Kemp is a rhino. I don't care.
It doesn't matter. He's not running for anything, and he's already endorsed Trump. Why are we attacking him?
I know he endorsed him. Just everybody, just shut up. Who cares? Like it doesn't.
God.
Why? It's like everybody. You know what we're doing? It's like people are seeing an object that's not even shiny over here, and we're getting distracted by things we don't need to get distracted by, and it's hurting us. Just stop. Who gives a shit about Kemp?
Message to him, like get it in his head.
We shouldn't be giving a crap about Kemp right now. We should be focusing on the goal, which is to win.
Yes,
the election.
Exactly.
What are we doing?
Well, it's like Sticky Frog says, like what we've always said. He is the master of stepping on his own dick.
But other people are saying, "Oh, that's totally fine to step on your own." Just stop it.
I mean, whatever. Stop. You might have a problem if you think that that's fine to attack somebody who's not doing anything to you at the moment, who's not running for anything, and who's already endorsed you like that.
We can talk about that later. We can talk about the fact that he's a rhino later. Right now, we got to focus. We've got like 4 months to get this done.
Not even. We have less than 90 days.
Oh, okay. We've got 3 months to get this done. So let's just get this done. And then we can focus on what a rhino he is. We can do that later.
Yes.
Let's focus.
Yes. Elon Musk did another sit down with Lex Fridman, and this is post Elon's endorsement of Donald Trump. And so Lex Fridman wanted to find out what prompted that and why it was that day of Trump's attempted assassination that made Elon finally come out and say full force, I'm supporting Trump.
Since I am interviewing Donald Trump.
Cool.
You want to stop by?
Yeah, sure. I'll stop in.
There was tragically an assassination attempt on Donald Trump. After this, you tweeted that you endorse him. What's your philosophy behind that endorsement? What do you hope Donald Trump does for the future of this country and for the future of humanity?
You know, people tend to take, like, say, an endorsement as, well, I agree with everything that person has ever done their entire life 100% wholeheartedly. And that's not going to be true of anyone. But we have to pick, we've got two choices really for who's president. And it's not just who's president, but the entire administrative structure changes over. And I thought Trump displayed courage under fire, objectively. He's just got shot. He's got blood streaming down his face, and he's like fist pumping, saying fight. Like that's impressive. Like you can't feign bravery in a situation like that. Like most people would be ducking. There would not be, because it could be a second shooter. You don't know.
That's right.
The president of the United States got to represent the country, and they're representing you. They're representing everyone in America. Well, like you want someone who is strong and courageous to represent the country. That's not to say that he is without flaws. We all have flaws. But on balance, and certainly at the time, it was a choice of, Biden, poor guy, has trouble climbing a flight of stairs. And the other one's fist pumping after getting shot. It's just no comparison.
Red-pilled Musk. I really like him.
So great.
And listen, it was partially, I'm sure it was that moment, but also he hates this transgender crap.
Yeah.
He hates it because he's got a kid who he's lost to all of that garbage. Mm-hmm. And so that is a personal thing for him. And so I just ideologically, he is on the right at this point.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he's obviously brilliant. And so
totally.
He's pointing out the obvious, but it's a good message for me too, because the minute I get frustrated with Donald Trump about ripping on Brian Kemp and stepping on his own unit, I listen to Elon, who says he's flawed, and that's still okay because we're all flawed, right? We all have flaws. And so we're not going to agree with him 100% of the time. And I totally feel that because that's me. I can't stand half the shit that comes out of Trump's face, but I know that he's the better choice, the only choice to lead this country for the next 4 years.
Well, I think
it's not even a question. And so when people don't allow me to just say things I feel out loud without having a fit, it's just dumb. Like I'm going to say the things.
Well, I mean, I think that we need to all abide by the 80-20 rule.
Exactly.
It's kind of like what he says. I mean, we're all flawed, but as if you agree with somebody 80% of the time, you agree with them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like you and I are best friends. We don't agree with each other all the time, but most of the time we do, you know?
Yeah. Enough of the time we do.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And that's exactly. And that is the way that's kind of that's how I live my life. It's like by that sort of 80-20 rule. Right.
Mm-hmm.
And so
exactly,
we should do that.
Elon also talked about how he has spoken with Donald Trump about setting up an efficiency commission, which I thought was kind of interesting. And he also talks about the Matrix.
I have discussed with Trump the idea of a government efficiency commission.
Nice. Yeah.
And I would be willing to be part of that commission.
I wonder how hard that is.
The antibody reaction would be very strong.
Yes. Yeah.
So you really have to. You're attacking the Matrix at that point. The Matrix will fight back.
That's so like chilling to listen to. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it is. Mm-hmm, totally.
Because the Matrix is strong, man.
It is.
It's
so
strong.
Kamala just picked her running mate.
Who is it?
Tim Walz.
Walz? She picked Walz?
Walz.
Okay, that's good, you guys. That's actually really good.
That's out of left field. I didn't see that coming.
I saw it coming yesterday because there was all the talk yesterday. And I was like, okay, it's sounding like this is going to be the guy, but this is actually really good. I think we collectively should be happy about it because he's an idiot, that guy.
Heidi says she picked No Balls Walls. I love it. That's the greatest nickname. They've got to run with that, Heidi. # No Balls Walls.
Yeah. So that is excellent. And it is a testament to the anti-Semitic nature of Democrats because the best choice for them would have been Josh Shapiro. And the only reason they didn't pick him is because they hate that he's Jewish. And I love that this has exposed it. I knew
they weren't going to pick Shapiro. I knew it. There's just no way. That wasn't going to happen. But I thought for sure it was going to be Kelly. And
Walz is perfect because he's the one that we just played earlier this week talking about how great socialism is. It's just being neighborly, you guys.
He's a commie. He's a freaking communist, that guy. He's a no balls communist. So that's perfect. So you can't go farther left than those two.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. And okay, so JD Vance and Walz in a debate.
Oh my God, it's going to be beautiful.
Epic.
It's going to be beautiful. And by the way, Walz is the guy who was on point. He was in Minnesota when the 2020 riots destroyed much of his cities.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he did nothing. He did nothing.
Yep.
And so he's got a record that the GOP can absolutely shine a spotlight on and say, this guy sucks.
Yeah. And he's old. He's old and white. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, that's interesting indeed.
Okay. Good pick. I'm okay with this. I'm all right with it.
I'm great with it. This is the best of all worlds, if you ask me. I think this is fantastic.
It's a good one.
Meanwhile, Kellyanne Conway, who was such an important part of Trump's first campaign, has just registered as a foreign agent to Ukraine. And Don Trump Jr. has thoughts.
Madman PA. What's up with Kellyanne Conway registering as a foreign agent for Ukraine? Yeah, listen. Hey, I like Kellyanne. I've known her for a long time. I don't know how. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how do you do that. It doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I guess you take the money and maybe that's DC or whatever happens over time. But I don't know how you can be part of a campaign and do that. I mean, clearly. The problem is this, the rich guys in Ukraine, they want the war to continue because they're stealing the money that we're sending them. They're happy to send the guys dying, on the battlegrounds as cannon fodder over there because they don't have any power, and so they'll send that. So, if you're working for Ukraine, it's hard. Like, I can't imagine anyone there is actually working for peace, and Trump's the only guy that can actually get peace there.
Gross.
So, yeah, like I said, I like Kellyanne a lot. That one, I don't know. It's just a little too. I don't want to comment any further because I'll get myself in trouble. But it's a little too swampy for my taste, and honestly, it's tough to sort of hard to believe. Maybe it's wrong. I don't know.
I don't think it's wrong. I think it's just a thing that's happened.
Okay, so if that happened, I mean, it's gross. But then again, it's not surprising she slept with George Conway at least 4 times. So what are you gonna do? I mean, she's obviously taking money from a foreign country, so she can. Gross.
Yeah.
Like people in politics, man, we've known good people, or we think that are good people. And then they get into politics and they just become completely different people. And they sell out for money, and it's gross. They become whores.
Yeah.
They become whores to the system.
We've seen it happen a million times.
We have, you guys. We've seen it happen to decent people. And you think they're going to do good things, and they get in there and they just sell themselves out. It's gross. And you're like, it's all about money and power. And it does corrupt. It's so gross. And they become completely different human beings. And it's so disappointing.
And it is absolutely about the money. As Joe Reber pointed out, that it's $50,000 a month. So,
oh my God.
Yeah. Money talks and Kellyanne comes running.
I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
There's no way. There's no way.
I wouldn't do it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I would not do it. I'd rather to be poor.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it. Gross.
Usha, JD Vance's wife, was on with Ainsley Earhart for an interview, and Ainsley wanted to address the whole childless cat ladies comment that everybody is all freaking out about from JD from 2021. And so here is how Usha addressed it.
There are a few comments that are out there that I have to ask you about. In 2021, JD said, "We are effectively run by a bunch of childless cat ladies taking aim at government leaders who don't have children." What was your reaction?
Well, I mean, I took a moment to look and actually see what he had said and try to understand what the context was and all that, which is something that I really wish people would do a little bit more often. And the reality is, he made a quip in service of making a point that he wanted to make that was substantive, and it had actual meaning. And I just wish sometimes that people would talk about those things, and that we would spend a lot less time just sort of going through this 3-word phrase or that 3-word phrase, because what he was really saying is that it can be really hard to be a parent in this country. And sometimes our policies are designed in a way that make it even harder. And we should be asking ourselves, why is that true? What is it about our leadership and the way that they think about the world that makes it so hard sometimes for parents? And that's the conversation that I really think that we should have. And I understand why he was saying that.
What do you say to the women who were offended or were hurt by that?
Well, I think I would say, first of all, that JD absolutely at the time and today would never, ever, ever want to say something to hurt someone who was trying to have a family, who really, was struggling with that. And he made that clear at the time, and he's made that clear today. I think what I would say is, let's try to look at the real conversation that he's trying to have and engage with it and understand, for those of us who do have families, for the many of us who want to have families and for whom it's really hard, what can we do to make it better? What can we do to make it easier to live in 2024?
What do you think about that answer?
I think it's awesome. I think she's awesome. But the people that she's trying to reach, the childless cat ladies who took offense, they're never going to listen to the full context. The Jennifer Anistons of the world,
right,
are never going to listen to the full context because they don't want to. They just don't want. They want to be closed-minded, and they don't want to have that conversation, and they don't want to. So you're not going to reach them. Just how I feel.
No, but I thought that was as good of an answer as she could.
Great
have
answer,
for sure.
Yep.
Marilyn Air over on Venmo says, "Good morning, beautiful chicks. 4 years ago, we set our 18-year-old son up with an E-Trade account so he could learn about investing. He read the market and sold off last week. Can he please replace the bridge troll?" I don't know what that means. Replace the bridge troll. Like, do we have another troll to get rid of? I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but thank you for that. Kim Donaldson, thank you. She says, Jared Bernstein went to the Manhattan School of Music, has a Master of Social Work from Hunter College and a Doctorate of Social Work from Columbia. How does this help with money?
Oh my God. How is he a finance guy?
He is the chief economic advisor on the council.
And he has an MSW? Oh my gosh. My daughter-in-law
explains everything.
My daughter-in-law has an MSW. At no point would she ever say, I think I'm going to go ahead and advise on the economy or anything financial. She would say that to you. Holy cow. I did not know that.
Wow. Janine Gledhill. Thank you, Janine. She says, love you girls. Missed you while I was cruising for my 60th. Take my casino winnings. Thank you and happy birthday. Karen Elliott says, my nickname for Kamala, sing to Karma Chameleon. Yeah, we used to say that. We used to say that all the time. Kamala Chameleon. And the photo in the story says, I agree with Victor David Hanson. Kemp is also a good governor. He's very popular in Georgia. And so, and then Stuart the Brit says, try and build a walls now. Because walls is see what he did there?
Like no balls, walls. Good one.
And then I think Marilyn just sent another saying Janet Yellen. Oh,
the bridge troll.
Yes, her son should replace Janet Yellen. Okay, I got it.
Yes,
I got it. Sorry,
we're there. We're tracking now.
We're tracking. You got to be specific when you do the supers because our minds are going.
We're like 10 steps ahead now.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. We need to move on to Kamala because now that she's got her VP choice, there's going to be a lot to talk about over the next several days, which, by the way, we are not going to be here Thursday and Friday, just so you know. I'm not going to South Carolina, but we are going to take the time off because I still have a lot to do related to the move. So just FYI, there will be a show tomorrow, just not on Thursday and Friday. Okay. Everybody got it?
Okay.
Okay. So yeah, there's a lot of talk still about this phenomenon that's happening with Kamala, where she doesn't have to actually think anything or say anything, but yet is experiencing this explosion of popularity. And so here is some folks from MSNBC talking about this meteoric, spontaneous rise in the polls.
There was a sense of increased enthusiasm, excitement, a sense that they might actually be able to win this thing now.
CBS,
is the polling reflecting that?
Good morning, Ed. And the short answer is yes. Let me remind everybody, this is a shift because Joe Biden, when he was the nominee, was down 5 points nationally to Donald Trump. So what's behind this is really interesting because you see more Democrats now say not only are they excited about Harris as the nominee, but that they're going to vote. And that'll make your poll numbers go up. In fact, if you look at our estimates across each and every one of the battleground states, from Pennsylvania to Michigan, down south, Georgia, Arizona, and others, they're all even or close. And that is your reset race. You see core Democratic constituencies saying they're going to vote. Specifically, black voters are enthusiastic. Their numbers of saying they're going to vote are up from July. And I want to talk about the women's vote, because not only does Harris do better than Biden was doing, but women tell us they think that Harris would look out for the interests of women much more so than Donald Trump. So it's not just a demographic break. That's the rationale behind it, Ed.
And they were.
Do women not buy gas or groceries?
Right?
I mean, it's like, is that all we're good for, is going and getting abortions? I don't understand you women. I don't. I don't, because I handle the finances in my house. And I mean, I actually get gas in my own car. I go grocery shopping once in a while, and things suck.
Right. Well, and so does the world around you. I mean, the world around you also sucks, and the world is dangerous because of this administration.
Yeah.
I'm a woman and I care about security. I care about
I have
that.
2 daughters. I worry about their safety. I swear these women are they're
just
embarrassing.
They're shells of women. That's all they are.
They are embarrassing to women because they're like, well, I mean, she's got lady parts, so I guess I got to vote for her. You're an idiot.
Complete idiot. And what worries me, because I know people are like, polls, schmoles, you just don't pay attention to polls. What I do worry about is the enthusiasm, because enthusiasm translates into actual voter registration and going to the polls. I worry, especially after hearing that terrifying stat from Scott Pressler about the rallies of the Trump rallies, where they're packed full of people and only 13% of them are actually registered to vote.
Yeah.
That terrifies me, that there's all these people that are like, go Trump, that don't actually get their butts off to do the work to vote. That's what I worry about.
It's true. And that is actually true, you guys. You could believe that, because as a precinct chair, I will tell you that is 100% true.
So infuriating that people just sit home. I just can't.
They're like, well, I'm not going to make a difference. I mean, I love going to the rallies, but I'm not going to make a difference. So why bother? This is what they do. And they're like, well, they cheat anyway, so I'm not going to bother. Bother. Go bother. Yeah.
Please bother. Oh my God. Do all the bothering. And then Rich Lowry on Kamala's rise, but also Trump's the strategy that Trump should employ.
Has obviously had a huge burst of momentum, right? She's gone from a month ago, she was a subpar vice president, and now she's the second coming of Barack Obama, basically. And a lot of it has to do with just sheer media adulation. A lot of it is relief among Democrats and no longer having Biden at the top of the ticket. But I think her case, and this goes to what we were talking about earlier, is basically, you guys maybe didn't like Trump and Biden very much. I'm a third force. I'm fresh and new. And what Trump has to argue is, no, she was an integral part of an administration that most Americans consider failed. You know, the president's...
It's amazing that a month ago...
That's exactly right. Like, that has to be the strategy. She owns this administration's failures. She was part of it. She's done nothing. And look at what I did, and look at what I will do. Because Kamala's not going to tell you anything about what she's going to do. There's nothing on her website.
She will tell you nothing, period. She's just going to say nothing until they're going to keep her hidden. They're going to keep her from saying jack squat for the next 3 months.
Yep.
She hasn't said anything. Nothing.
And people need to keep dragging her for that, like calling her out. Where's Kamala? I love all the accounts. I know JD Vance is one of them. Tom Cotton's another, who are literally counting days since she became the presumptive nominee, and how many days it's been since she's answered a single question.
Right.
And I love that they're doing that. That needs to be spread far and wide.
It's the same tactic they use for Biden. They hit him in the basement. They're doing the same thing with her. This is, and they think that they're gonna like put her over the goalpost to get her elected this way. And it could very well work with
Absolutely
people.
It could. Greg Gutfeld saying it in just always the perfect way, talking about how it's irrational exuberance.
That debate exposed probably the biggest political scandal in modern history, right? They covered up a president's dementia. Then 3 weeks ago, we had probably the biggest security breach in decades, an attempted assassination. And yet, without doing a thing, Kamala is the story. She's done nothing. She said nothing, yet she is the story. That tells you that the machine is doing all of it. She's just a constant variable. It doesn't matter. She's having fun because she knows everything is taken care of, right? She's like a tourist in the back seat of a Vegas limo with a roadie Long Island iced tea heading to the casino to play with the house chips. Right. But the Republicans, and this is the key point, they have to show up, because the fact is, if you do not confront the Democratic Party with the dementia cover up and who participated in it, which was her, she's going to get away with it. They were driving full speed into that story. And if the Republicans don't confront them and say she was behind this because she knew she would get the nomination. She knew she would get the nomination if this happened, if they covered it up. That's the story.
Yep. But they're going to cover for her. They're going to keep covering for her.
Clearly. Yeah. And that's why everybody's just got to be as loud as possible about saying all the things and not being and being fearless about saying the things.
Right. And when you see people say, I'm with her, be like, why? She covered this up. She was part of the cabal. I mean, it was a coup. This is unconstitutional. I mean, the way they did this was it's non-democratic, and they've been preaching democracy to us for how many years? And now all of a sudden they're not
now, right?
Right. Now all of a sudden they stop saying it. I wonder why. Yeah.
I'm very glad that Tim Pool is so very popular and has so many listeners, because I know we say it all the time, how important it is to vote, to not just be a Trump supporter, but to actually cast a vote for him. And when he talks about what a Kamala presidency would look like, it should scare, I would hope, his audience into doing that, into voting, because it's not going to be good.
Good. This is what I actually fear, though, right? A Donald Trump president is going to be presidency and administration will be marginally good. He's going to hire some bad people. Maybe he'll learn his lesson. He'll hire some better people. It'll be okay. We're going to be moderately happy with it. I think the economy being good means many people will be very happy with it. Kamala Harris has no policy positions on her website.
Nope.
She's not received a single vote. She was installed. And they're showing polls where she's within the margin of error of beating Trump. And if that happens, that's what really scares me. This is the powers that be saying, can we enact Chinese communist-style governance in the United States? Because if Kamala Harris wins, that's what it is. And it's unfortunate that it really comes down to Trump and oblivion. And I don't mean to say that Kamala Harris is going to be like Hitler or anything like that, although some guy from Splinter News, which used to be Fusion where I worked, actually believed my over-the-top tweet where I said she'd start 800 wars, and he thought it was real, because they're not smart people. What I mean is, Kamala Harris winning signals the end of the Republic. It's I really do think if Kamala wins, you're going to wake up and you're going to buy bread. You're going to wake up, you're going to go to the store and get milk, bread, and eggs. You're going to turn on the TV and you're going to watch your Fox News or your Newsmax or your ABC, whatever it is you're watching. Kamala will be president. There will be there'll be expansion of war. There will be mass spending, and you will have no say and no power over it. It will not be a dramatic overnight end. People will not be rounded up and put in camps. None of that. It's just going to be the beginning of the end of the republic, which is no more representation by the people.
I think that's right. And we're seeing no representation by the people in the Democrat Party. And you also are seeing something which is fascinating, which is all of these Democrats saying, and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
And we like it this way. And please tell us what to do. You know, beat us some more. That is what we are into.
Thank you, sir. May I have another? Thank you, ma'am. May I have another? This is what they're doing. And they like it because these people want socialism. They want communism. They like it. They want to be told what to do, how to live their lives. And we are the antithesis of that. And that is why I want a divorce.
Same. Kim Donaldson says it's walls just announced. Yeah, you need to rewind because we
talked about that.
We already talked about that. Remember how yesterday you were saying that there was all these comedians getting together on behalf of Kamala, like doing I don't even know what they were doing.
It was like comedians for Kamala is what it was like.
Like a Zoom call?
Comics for Kamala is what it was. It was a Zoom call.
Well, they had it, and I'm not going to do a lot from it, just one clip from Ben Stiller, because I thought it was so interesting that he says, as a Jew, he wishes he were black. And I was like, what kind of talking point is this shit?
That's why everybody's got to get out and vote and donate. And she's also a historic candidate. You know, it's going to be the first woman president. And that's incredibly exciting. And, you know, she's Indian, she's black, she's everything. You can be more than one thing. It's incredible. You know, I'm Jewish and Irish. I wish I was black. Every white Jewish guy wishes he was black. I'm sorry.
What the F
any
is that
any
all
white
about?
Jewish guys out there? Do you wish you were black? I mean, it's like what every white Jewish guy wishes they were. Really? Is that true? Because I call bullshit on that.
I don't even understand
what is wrong. What is wrong with these people?
These people are psychotic. They are psychotic.
So stupid. And does he know that Democrats actually don't like Jewish people? Does he know that? Who's going to tell him?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
There is also a new trend on TikTok that's happening that is horrifying. They are taking sound bites from Kamala's rallies where she's giving her scripted speeches. They're taking sound bites and then they're setting those sound bites to music and creating new TikTok dances for them. And it's people that look like this.
Something to say. Say it to her. If you got something to say, Donald. Say it to her. If you got something to say, Donald. Say it to her. Donald. Donald.
I am horrified. Not.
That's a thing that's happening now a lot.
Trump's like, I'm going to go ahead and pass. I'm going to go ahead and pass to say that to your face. I'm going to
oh my God.
move right along.
Anyway, just wanted to share that new
You're
trend
welcome,
that's happening.
You're welcome.
Kristen Thompson says, no balls walls is the perfect pick for Kamala. She loves emasculated men like her soy boy husband.
Totally. Oh my
Exactly.
gosh. Without question. I wonder if that guy, I'm sure he's married, right? And has kids.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Mhm.
Although I'm just assuming. I don't know. I don't know anything about him other than his policies suck and he's ruined Minnesota.
God, totally. Yeah.
So, also, remember like last week, I think it was, where I had said it was making me crazy that people were mispronouncing Kamala's name after 4 years of her being vice president.
You did. You were.
And I
you
know
were
a lot of
going on
people
a
were like,
rampage. You're right.
you're out of control. This is like so dumb that you care about this.
I
But-
didn't say that you were out of control, but it was a little
no, not
weird.
you, but just like people were all, you know, how they
Right.
are.
It's I don't really care. Yeah, I don't.
And so I thought it was hilarious that Mika and Joe very bothered by the mispronunciation as well, but I don't know if Joe actually knows how to pronounce it. So just so we're clear, it's Kamala, not Kamala. And a lot of people say Kamala like without knowing that that's wrong. They're not trying to be mean. They're not trying to make fun of her. They just genuinely don't know that it's Kamala. And so they say Kamala. So Mika and Joe are talking about that, right? And Joe's super angry at people who mispronounce her name, but then he goes on to mispronounce it. And so I don't know. You have to just watch this clip and tell me if you think he actually knows how it's pronounced.
Again, this is serious. It's
serious.
They all deliberately mispronounce her name, Kamala. Yeah. Repeatedly, all the hosts, Kamala. I mean,
some of them don't do it on purpose, but there's definitely like a kind of thing they're doing there to make even her name seem different.
Wait, her name is Kamala, and he was saying that we were mispronouncing it, Kamala?
Well, that's what I was confused about, because he says it. He says people mispronounce it, Kamala, and then he's like, and I'm just constantly hearing Kamala, which is correct. And so now I don't even know if he knows how to say it.
I don't think he knows.
Okay, that's kind of funny then.
I think he just, it is kind of funny. I think he just wants something to bitch about.
I just, wow. Like, I just could not believe that he was bitching about it, but then also I can't tell if he really knows.
I also wonder, have they ever addressed the whole assassination attempt thing? Have they ever talked about it?
I don't watch that show, so I could not begin to
That's
tell
the thing, because remember they were taken off the air that day, the day after?
Yeah. They were so
taken off the air because the network obviously didn't think they could handle it, because they're a bunch of babies who bitch about Trump all the time. And I just wonder if they ever addressed it. I don't think they ever did, because these are just unserious people.
Over on Locals, Osuki says, I've already shared on Twitter Kamal's cigarette. I don't understand that.
Like camel cigarette.
Oh, camel cigarette. Okay. Picks No Balls Walls as VP. Are you guys like watching our show? Like, we talked about that. Like, if people are saying it like after the fact, like we don't know. Is it that they want us to talk about it more? Like, what's happening? Why are you guys sending us stickers that tell us things that we've already said?
We did talk about it. We did.
Okay. I don't understand what's happening. Also, Kamala, you know how we've been picking out some clips to share that like are from the past, some of which I did not know about. This one is super creepy because it gives you insight into how power driven she is. This is old, you can tell because she looks much younger, but it's psycho. Like, she's talking about how much power she had as a prosecutor, and you can tell that she's kind of getting off on this, you guys.
What I have as a prosecutor is that with a swipe of my pen, I can charge someone with a misdemeanor, the lowest level offense possible. And by virtue of that swipe of my pen, you will have to go to a courthouse and stand in line. You will have to come out of pocket and hire an attorney. You may get arrested for a few hours. You will be embarrassed in your community. You will miss time from coming onto the Google campus. All because with the swipe of my pen, I've charged you with a crime, which I may choose to dismiss 2 weeks later. It's an incredible amount of power.
That's freaking batshit right there. The way that she's talking about that.
Yeah, it's just a weird subject to be talking about out loud. Yeah, that's weird. It's like, you're right. I think she was getting off on it.
Yeah. Like,
and imagine if she becomes president.
Right? Oh
yeah.
My gosh.
With the pen. Good Lord. Yeah.
Yikes. Osuki says, no, I shared it because you guys said. Okay. Thank you for sharing it on Twitter. I'm sure it's out there, but thank you very much for sharing it on Twitter. Okay. This is another clip, and I don't know when this is from or what venue. It says recode. I don't even know what that means on the screen, but she's on a panel. Okay. And there's like a woman like a white woman on one side of her who's listening to what she's saying. And you can tell she is cringing on her behalf. Like, if I were sitting next to Kamala when she was behaving like this, I too would be cringing. This is just cringe.
We have to stay woke. Like, everybody needs to be woke. And you can talk about if you're the wokest or woker, but just stay more woke than less woke. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually.
She's so that way.
Yeah, that's it. That's weird.
Yes.
That's what's weird right there.
Yes.
Why is she saying that? I'm not going to be woke, you moron. God, it's just the dumbest thing ever. No, how about you just like know how to do your job, which we know you can't do. Stay woke. What?
The Trump should put that in an ad. Like that should be all over an ad for sure.
Yeah, because woke equals men playing in women's sports. Woke equals mutilating children. Woke equals a lot of things that no, I'm not down with. So maybe shut up about that. No.
There's also a new SD clip. This is actually of she's mocking an old Kamala clip back when Kamala was celebrating Juneteenth. But she is so perfect at it. And she puts her own little unique spin on it at the very end. Because this is a lip sync, right? But then listen at the very end.
Less woke. Yeah.
Happy Juneteenth. Please have a seat. Please have a seat.
Oh my God. I can't with the laughing.
To my divine family. Good evening, everyone. I'm an asshole.
This is the world right now.
It is the world. That's us. We're a huge dumpster fire. Good evening, everyone. I'm an asshole.
I just love the way she said that.
So true.
Oh my God. Just the best.
I can't listen. I cannot handle 4 years of that cackle. I can't.
I know, man.
You guys, I can't. We've got to vote for Trump. We have to. It's the cackle alone. I mean, the policies aside, but the cackle, I can't.
Oh my God. I know. Here's an interesting story that happened in Nassau County, New York. So you guys remember just 4 short years ago when there were all kinds of mask mandates? Now in Nassau County, there is a mask ban, and you're going to see a report about it right
With
here.
a controversial new bill that was just passed in Nassau County, the measure changes the rules for wearing masks and face coverings in public. And as News 12's Kevin Vesey explains, there were some heated moments as the bill was being discussed.
Super heated. Oh my God.
Tensions boiled over tonight at the Nassau legislature when at least one person was arrested. The chaos came during a heated discussion about the county's Mask Transparency Act. The measure makes it illegal to wear a mask in public unless it's for the person's health, religion, or celebratory purposes. A similar state law had been on the books prior to the COVID pandemic.
This law endangers my life. This law endangers the lives of many people.
Bridget Jones is immunocompromised and came from Harlem to speak against the measure.
Criminalizing a tool that literally is PPE. It's a mobility aid. It saves lives.
The county legislature passed the bill along party lines. All 12 Republicans voted in favor. All 7 Democrats abstained. Supporters say it prevents people from committing crimes or acts of violence while hiding behind a mask.
This bill addresses the urgent need to mitigate potential threats to the community's safety and to ensure accountability amongst protesters.
Police will determine if a mask is being worn for legitimate purposes. Opponents say that could lead to discrimination.
Black and brown residents in Nassau County are overly targeted, more so than white people. And so we see that this mask ban will only exacerbate that issue.
What?
Now, Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman is expected to sign that legislation, and it would go into effect immediately. Penalties for illegally wearing a mask would include up to 1 year behind bars and a $1,000 fine.
Isn't that just amazing?
How we've full circle.
I mean, what in the world?
And the government is so dumb. We're just so dumb. Like it was just like 2 days ago where they were like, there's a mask mandate. And now they're like, you can't wear masks. And masks are racist. Right. Or something. I can't keep track, you guys. It's like the stupidity of our government is beyond the pale. But
I get it. I mean, I get
intended, I guess. Yeah, I don't
look at this guy. Like, this guy is in full ski mask, just walking around New York City. And I don't think that should not be a thing.
No.
Because he could literally walk into any place, rob it, and no one would have any idea how to ID him.
I think masks are stupid. They didn't help during COVID. They're just dumb. Like the whole reason a lot of these people, listen, I'm sure there's some people that are like, if you are actually immunocompromised, but there are a lot of people out there that are like, I'm immunocompromised. No, you're not. Are you really? Like, some people that say they aren't really, you know what I mean? And they're wearing the mask because they feel they're so mentally, I don't want to say the word. They're so emotionally attached to these masks now because they wore them for so many years and they don't want to let go. Believe me, I've been to Austin and I've seen a lot of people that still wear them, and they just wear them because they want to wear them, and they're so attached. And
that's just psycho.
And some of those crazy. Listen, I'm sure there are some people like, listen, if you have cancer or whatever, you want to wear a mask. I get it, but there are some people that are just super attached to these, and it's absolutely ridiculous. It's the full circleness of this is,
I know, it's amazing.
It's crazy.
And it is, there are exceptions obviously for people who want or need to wear them for medical purposes. So that's why the outrage is so dumb. Like, if you're not going to dress up in a ski mask or like go commit a violent protest, you're probably going to be fine. You know what I mean? It's to prevent stuff like that anonymity when you're trying to do shady shit. That's what it's for. All right. Neil Gorsuch has a new book coming out called Overruled. And so he's been making the talk show rounds, and a couple points that were interesting. He had a reaction when talking to Shannon Bream about Biden-Harris's recent Supreme Court overhauls that they want to propose. And he had a message for them.
First, Shannon sat down with Justice Neil Gorsuch at the Supreme Court and has his response to President Biden's proposed reforms.
You are not in a bubble here at the court. There are real world events happening. The president has proposed now changes to the court, supported, it appears, by the vice president, who looks like she's going to be the Democratic nominee. How does the court feel about potential changes, term limits, ethics codes that are enforced by someone in ways that it isn't now?
Shannon, you're not going to be surprised that I'm not going to get into what is now a political issue during a presidential election year. I don't think that would be helpful. I have one thought to add. It is that the independent judiciary means, what does it mean to you as an American? It means that when you're unpopular, you can get a fair hearing under the law and under the Constitution. If you're in the majority, you don't need judges and juries to hear you and protect your rights. You're popular. It's there for the moments when the spotlight's on you, when the government's coming after you. And don't you want a ferociously independent judge and a jury of your peers to make those decisions? Isn't that your right as an American? And so I just say, be careful.
I love him.
Yeah, he's a good one. He's a really good one.
God, that voice.
I know. I wish we had more like him.
Yeah, we really need more of him.
It's like a dying breed,
And he talked about on CBS in a different interview, he also talked about, this accusation that there's leaning towards one side or the other politically. And it's Major Garrett, who is just such a needler anymore.
Yeah.
I can't stand that guy.
Yeah, I don't like him either.
And I feel like Neil Gorsuch sets him straight.
I read the other day that in ideologically divided cases, now I don't know what that means, this last term, that I agreed with Justice Sotomayor, Justice Kagan, and Justice Jackson something like 45% of the time. That's the court I know.
But there are people who will watch this right now and say, I thought I understood what Roe versus Wade meant in our country. I thought I understood what affirmative action in college admissions meant. And this court has told me I didn't understand what those things meant, and I wrongly relied on things that I thought were settled. What would you say to those?
I'd say those are deeply complex legal questions on which reasonable minds can, of course, and do disagree. And then when it comes to Roe versus Wade, for example, what did the court decide? Decided that we, the people, should answer that question, not 9 people sitting in Washington, D.C.
Yes. Yes.
Exactly.
Totally.
He's a good one.
Beautiful answer.
Tom J says, I'm Black and grew up in Nassau County. We're not targeted there. In fact, I got away with too much. LOL. Samantha Capehart says, just moved from conservative Tennessee to the DC area for work. At least 20% of people still wearing masks. Pray for my sanity. Wow.
Yeah.
20%. And then Jam Jams says, hopefully Cori Bush gets fired today. Missouri primaries are today. Get out and vote. Oh my gosh. If you are in Missouri, go.
Oh my
Get
gosh,
her out.
That would be the greatest news to hear this week, right? Is that, oh God, fire Cori Bush.
Oh my God. Right? That would be amazing. Tell her to follow, what's his name? Jamal. Her and Jamal can go just do whatever it is that they do.
Bye. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. If you're in Missouri, go.
Do it.
I learned something about Mark Robinson from North Carolina, who is running for governor and who I very much hope wins. He released a video with his wife about the fact that they had an abortion 30 years ago. And I had no idea that this was part of his history. Super interesting how they addressed it.
Years ago, my wife and I made a very difficult decision. We had an abortion. It was like this silent pain between us that we never spoke of.
It's something that stays with you forever.
That's why I stand by our current law, and it provides common sense exceptions for life of the mother, incest, and rape, which gives help to mothers and stops cruel late-term abortions. When I'm governor, mothers in need will be supported.
I freaking love that ad.
Yeah, I do too. And I love how real he is.
Yeah.
You know, how he shared that. I think it's great that he shared it. And his wife was there too. You know, I mean, listen, I'm pro-life, but I appreciate his vulnerability in that moment. And hers as well.
The fact that he knows this is an issue that will never, ever be agreed on by 100% of people. And the fact that the North Carolina now has a law saying you can get them up to 12 weeks. He's simply saying, I'm not messing with that law. And I think it's a smart campaign move. And I think it's really just a great move all the way around for him to put that message out.
Especially since, you know, they did that when, you know, 30 years ago, because if somebody would have pried into their business, which, you know, they would have, if he would have messed with that and he would have said, I'm completely against abortion. I want to outlaw it in the state. They would have been like, well, wait a second. You guys had one 30 years ago. So you're hypocrites. So, I mean, it was probably the right move for him just to say, I'm just not going to mess with anything. Listen, and I like how she said it affects you the rest of your life.
He's all choked up about it.
They're obviously emotionally distraught. It was a decision they made, and you can tell that decision wrecked them. And people need to understand that it wrecked them, you know, and it's something that they probably regret every single day.
Clearly.
But yeah, and there's shame involved. And that's something you and I wrote about that in our book. We've got to attach shame and regret to abortion again. I feel like, you know, there's all these lunatics out there that are like, shut my abortion. It's so great. That's where we are now. And I don't know why we're at that place. There should be shame attached to it. There should be awfulness attached, because that's what it is. It's awful. And so you could see the pain in their faces when they talked about it. And I'm glad he did that ad.
Shannon Pope says the Robinsons are the sweetest people, and I believe that. I totally believe it.
They seem like it. Yeah.
Let's have a nice little flashback, shall we, to when leadership was amazing. We got two clips to share from two amazing leaders. The first being Margaret Thatcher, who was talking about illegal immigration, of all things, back in the day.
Those who are genuine refugees, and that is determined again by the United Nations, will not be returned. Those who are illegal immigrants will be returned. And it is customary international law for countries to receive their own immigrants back into their country. And if the right honourable gentleman is suggesting that we ever get to a position when you cannot return illegal immigrants to their country of origin, then he is proposing international chaos.
God, she was the shiz.
Right?
Yeah.
Man, she was amazing.
She really was, man.
Amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We also have a flashback from the GOAT, from Ronald Reagan, who is telling a joke, and there's nobody that tells him like Ronald Reagan. Am I right?
You're so right. I have a picture of him hanging up here. You guys can't see it, but he's right next to me in my office. Mm-hmm.
So I had not heard him tell this joke before, and I've heard a lot of his jokes, but I hadn't heard this one, and it's a good one.
It's a story about a woman who walked into a bridal shop one day and told the sales clerk that she was looking for a wedding gown for her 4th wedding. Well, the saleswoman asked, "Just exactly what type of dress are you looking for?" "A long, flowing white dress with a veil," she responded with assurance. Not totally convinced, but afraid to offend the woman, the saleslady said, "You know, dresses of that nature are usually more appropriate for brides who are being married for the first time, for those a bit more innocent, if you know what I mean." Well, the lady retorted and put her hand on her hip. "I do know what you mean, and I can assure you I'm as innocent as the rest of them. Despite all my marriages, I remain as innocent as any first-time bride. Well, you see, my first husband was a dear, sweet man. It was a terrible tragedy, actually. All the excitement of the wedding was simply too much for him, and he died as we checked into the hotel on our wedding night." "I'm sorry to hear that," said the clerk. "But what about the others?" "Well, my second husband and I got into a terrible fight in the limousine on the way to our wedding reception. We haven't spoken since and got the marriage quickly annulled." "What about your third husband?" asked the store clerk. "Well," the woman replied, "he was a Democrat. And every night for 4 years, he just sat on the edge of the bed and told me how good it was going to be." Sorry, I just couldn't resist telling you.
That's so great. Oh my God.
Isn't it the best?
The
oh my God, I
greatest.
just love that.
That
Love it.
is the greatest. It's going to be really good, you guys. It's going to be really good.
All right. I think we have time for schlong, right? We're going to do a schlong today.
Yes.
Even though we're over time, we're still going to do, it's going to be a long show. Did I tell you? It's going to be a long show.
It's going to be a long show.
Today's schlong is going to be about Tuah, but not in the way that you think. So she had her moment and I enjoyed it as much as everybody else did, and then stopped enjoying it when it just became ridiculous.
I never really enjoyed it. I
thought it was funny, like for the first day or two.
Maybe for like 3 seconds, I was like, ha, and then I was like, okay.
And now it's like she continues to get on shows, even as shows as big as Bill Maher's show. So he had her on. We have a couple clips to share. The second one of which is going to be the foundation for our discussion for today's schlong, because it's getting a lot of controversy around it. But before we get to that clip, the first one, just to like remind you guys what an idiot she is. This is probably one of the greatest misheard song lyrics of all time. Here she is to tell you about it.
All right, so you listen to Taylor Swift and who else? Who else is
Have
like...
you heard of Tate McRae?
Do you listen to a lot of rap?
I mean, here and there, like old rap, though. I don't listen to much new rap.
What's old to you, old rap? To me, it's
Let's
like
see.
Jay-Z and Tupac. No? You've heard of Jay-Z.
Yeah, and Tupac. I've heard of both of them. I just don't listen to them like that.
Yeah.
Besides that one song Jay-Z's in. It's like, concrete jungle, wet dream tomato. You know, about New York.
Wet Dream Tomato?
That's not really what it says, but that's what it sounds like, and that's what I know it by.
Wet Dream Tomato. That's
concrete jungle, wet dream tomato.
I mean...
Sorry, but that is awesome. Wet Dream Tomato? That's the best. I love it.
Eddie, are you walking? Eddie, are you walking?
If you guys are unfamiliar with the song, it's Concrete Jungle, what dreams are made of, not Wet Dream Tomato.
Of course, it's Wet Dream Tomato to her. Okay, I think the fact that he had her on is completely creepy.
Well, we haven't even gotten to the creepy yet. So
yeah, he's creepy.
The reason that he is being accused of being creepy is because of this next clip. And we'll play it and then we'll discuss. Here it is.
I got it already. No.
What you got?
You need to do a podcast. You do it right here on Club Random, if you do it my way. Sex expert. And I'll tell you why. Wait. I'll tell you why. Because you need to, I told you were given this chip. You were given the chip of fame. Now you want to trade that in for something that uses that, but takes it to the next level. You have to trade on what you're already known for. That's the one thing you're known for. So you could do a podcast for I don't know if there's anything from somebody that age with that point of view, but it couldn't be frivolous. You have to take it seriously. Could you do that?
Possibly.
And talk about sex, but serious issues, because there are a lot of really serious issues. I mean, there's one that's related to what made you famous.
Yep.
What am I going to say? You have no idea what I'm going to say.
I don't know. I don't know where this is going. I'm kind of nervous.
I'm going to tell you where it's going. You learned that thing about spitting from porn. That's where that came. What? You did. Maybe not directly, but trust me, the idea of spitting, first of all, it's gross. It's not necessary. It never existed before porn. Do you know that? Do you realize that?
Yeah.
And porn is not benign. It is not. And it has warped the minds of the kids in your generation, especially the guys.
Yeah, they come up with some sick shit.
Yes.
People are just...
Yeah, no, I know they are. People are fucking sickos. And, whatever floats your arc, but...
Whatever floats your arc.
He's getting a lot of backlash because he was being accused of being creepy for talking to her as a much, much, much younger woman about doing a sex podcast. Thoughts?
Yeah, but I mean, she is famous because of sex.
She's also 21.
Okay, I mean, she's of age. I mean, I'm sure that a lot of his girlfriends are probably around that age because it's not like he's growing up anytime soon. So I just think it's creepy that he had her on because of who she is and what she represents. I think that's creepy. There's no substance to this girl. That's what I find creepy. It's not even the subject matter like that, him talking to her about that particular thing, because he was talking about how everybody is such a degenerate now because of porn. Okay, well, maybe he was trying to be helpful and say, maybe you could help this generation or try to figure out why everybody's so screwed up. I don't know. I don't even know if that's the creepy part. I think the creepy part is that he had her on to begin with. The creepy part is that we are making people like her famous. That's creepy. That's what's creepy to me. It's creepy that there is a girl that got on a video and she did that, and now she's rich as you know what, because she's a hoe. That's I think
the reason that he was getting accused of being creepy is because he was having a conversation about porn with her, and she's so much younger and he's in this position of power, blah, blah, blah. I actually think his advice, although completely misguided, was not terrible. He was saying, here's how you should take advantage of the ridiculous fame that you have right now. Here's an idea. He obviously does not know that there's a Call Her Daddy podcast, which has been doing exactly that forever.
Yeah.
But I mean, even if he didn't know that, he's saying there's a niche that you could fill, and here's what you should do. And I will even help you do it if you take it seriously, which if she turns that down, she's a moron. The problem is she's not nearly smart enough to do the kind of podcast he's suggesting. No. She doesn't have the brain power. But I honestly don't think it's particularly creepy that what he was saying to her. I didn't find that creepy at all. I mean, I think I agree with you that it's gross that he had her on, but I don't think he was being perverted by giving her that advice. And I just don't get the outrage about it.
No, I don't see the outrage about that. I don't think she's business savvy. I don't think she's savvy at all. No. I just think she's a country girl that's been thrown into, and it's just, she's sort of a microcosm for girls who are kind of trashy. And I have a young girl, and I don't want her anywhere near this crap. And I'm not even a prude. I'm not. But I just don't like it when we glorify this crap. I don't like it. It makes girls look stupid. It makes girls look vapid and shallow. And we're better than that. We're better.
And why is he so intent on helping her? Why did he have her on the show? Why does he want to hire her to do a podcast on his platform? Like, why? I don't think it would. He's creating something that would never work because she could never do a serious show. No. There's no way. I don't think she's capable of even doing a show.
She's as deep as the kiddie pool.
Anyway, so that's the latest that's going on with Bill Maher. Do you want to explain why we're not going to have a DD today?
Well, you guys, we got hit with I guess we call it a copyright thing because that encompasses what is happening here. On one of our videos yesterday, and I'm so sick of this crap because in the past we have paid so much money to people who gouge us. Because if we play a video and it's like a lot of these people, this is what they do for a living, you guys. There are people out there who literally will look for just like one little thing. And this particular video that we were hit with yesterday was a sweet.
It wasn't yesterday. So it was the video of a few days back, and now the video is gone.
But I'm saying
it got pulled.
But we were hit with it. We were told about it yesterday. Is what I'm saying. It's like we were informed of like this. We're going to hit you with all like these fines or whatever. You have to pay a fine in order to like be able to have this up. And like they gouge you. They basically blackmail you is what they do. They blackmail you and they make you pay money to have one of their videos up. And it's like Russian roulette. Like you don't know what video you're going to be able to play and what video you can't. And there are these companies out there this is how they make their money. That we've seen it with photography when we used to do our website. We've seen it with videos now that we do a podcast. And it's like, I just get so tired because we can't afford it. So I told Mock yesterday, I'm like, we're just not going to do it. We're just not going to do this anymore because we can't afford to do it. So unless I see something that I am completely sure of when it comes to DDs and like some of the other videos we put out there, even talks they scare me sometimes.
Yeah, that's why I only like playing the ones of people that I know like being shared and that own their own content and that aren't trying to get it licensed out.
Right.
And so, and it's so impossible because I think we saw that like the video in question was about that sweet autistic little girl who spoke for the first time on video, and it was like adorable, and it was I think it was an ABC story, and then ABC licensed it out somehow, or the mom did, to this total scum sketch organization that now owns it and expects everybody to know that they own it, which is impossible. It's not possible to know what company has decided to pay someone off to get rights to their content. You have no idea. And so,
and the worst part is it's such a sweet story. And so they know
shared far and wide,
and they know people will share it far and wide. And then what they do is they say, oh, that person's sharing it. We're going to go ahead and we're going to gouge them for money. And it's like blackmail, and it's gross. And it just shows how awful these people are. That is how they make a living. And you know what? Get a freaking real job. I hate these people. Like I said, we've dealt with them on our website. We've dealt with them. We're just telling you the truth. This is exactly what happens in this industry. And they're the scum of the earth. I don't like these people. Like they all need to get real jobs. So anyways, that's why we don't have a DD today. And, and we're not, and I told Mock yesterday, I was like, we just need to be very careful about what we share because we simply can't afford it, especially in this economy. Right now, things are we just need to be careful. That's all. Mm-hmm.
I feel pretty darn confident in terms of sharing talks with you that we'll be able to pick ones again that are of people that want to be shared and who own their own content. And I talked to Daisy before the show started about this guy that I just found. I think it's on Instagram, actually. I don't know if he's on TikTok too. I feel like maybe I'm super late to the party because he's hugely popular, but I'd never heard of him before. But his account is John Breaks Bad News. And I don't know if you guys have ever seen this, but hide your kids and hide your wives, first of all. Okay. Hide your kids, because this is not appropriate content. But this guy gets hired by people like you. You could hire this guy to call someone that you have bad news for that you don't want to break that bad news to. So you can have him be the messenger of the bad news, and people pay him to do this. Now, a lot of people do it like in a funny way. They do it to prank their friends or whatever. But some people like legit have terrible news that they want to tell someone, but they don't want to be the ones to tell. So they hire this guy to do it, and the results are hilarious. The best part about him is that at the end of each call, he says, "I'm so sorry, bud. I love you," to everybody that he's giving bad news to. And that in itself becomes completely hilarious. And so have a couple clips to share. The first one is inappropriate because he got hired by a girl to call her boyfriend and tell him to stop leaving his butt plugs in the sink, in her sink. And so this is the call.
Hi, Ryan. This is John from John Breaks Bad News. I have some bad news from Danielle for you. She has thrown out all of your butt plugs that you left in the sink. This is the third time she's asked you not to wash them in her sink. So if you want them, they're in the trash.
Jesus. Not again. Okay.
I know, those can get expensive.
Well, thanks.
Are they the Wi-Fi butt plugs?
I think there was one in there, yeah.
Oh my God. Sorry, bud. All right, I love you.
No problem. Love you too, man.
Bye-bye.
They don't even know each other.
They have no idea.
Know each other.
And
He's
he's
like,
like,
I love you. Yeah, I love you.
And so, yes, this is totally real.
This
and
is
so
real.
Then here's the second one. And this one even gets funnier because it reminds me. Do you remember watching Friends?
Yes.
When Ross was dating Emily, and Jen Aniston, Rachel was watching them on the phone, and they were like ooey gooey to each other, and like none of them could.
And she hangs up the phone.
Yeah, no, you hang up. No, you hang up.
And she just is like, I'm hanging up the phone. It's great. Yeah.
So this reminds me of that. And this is a guy thing. And I just love the recipient's attitude towards hearing this news.
Hi, is this Cole?
Yeah.
This is John from John Breaks Bad News. I have some bad news from Shag for you.
Uh-huh.
He can't go golfing with you anymore because of your swamp ass. It's so bad, he gets secondhand embarrassment from you.
Oh my God.
You have a sweaty ass.
Yeah. I mean, he ain't wrong.
It's disgusting. All right, I love you.
Thank you.
Say it back.
I love you.
All right.
All right.
Hang up now.
No, you hang up.
No, you hang up.
Nah.
No,
Nope,
you
I'm not
hang
hanging
up.
Nope.
No, you hang up.
No, I'm not playing this game.
No, come on, you hang up.
No.
No, you hang up.
Uh-uh.
All right, I love you. Bye.
Just cannot.
I swear.
My new favorite account.
If you need to deliver any bad news, this guy is the guy to do it. And you don't, if you want to do it. Listen, I could do this. I could totally
Oh my
do
God,
this.
you'd be so good. I could never do it.
Yeah, because I like confrontation. So I could totally do this. And Mock could so not do this.
I hate it. And I don't want it ever. And so I could not do it.
Yeah. I'm basically the confronter in my family. So this is why nobody in my family likes me anymore. So, but I should see, and he makes money doing this.
Oh my God, he probably makes so much money.
God, way more money than I make. So I'm in the wrong business. I should so be
Right?
doing this. Right. I'd be like, I love you. Say it back. Say it back.
I love the dudes that do say it back. Like,
I know.
what in the world?
Fantastic.
I saw one where he called a woman, and what was he even telling her? The bad news. I can't even remember. Oh, I think it was something like her husband bought a parrot that was going to, like, some super exotic parrot that he ordered without getting her permission, that is going to arrive at the same time as their newborn baby.
Oh
And
my God.
He hired John to break that bad news, and she was so pissed. I think that was the same one as where he said at the end, anyway, I'm sorry, to tell you this, I love you. And she lost her shit about being told that he loved her. Like, she was so mad about it. She was like, you don't even know me. How dare you say that to me? I am in a relationship. Like she got completely freaked out.
I would have been like, funny. I love you too. Bye. It's fine.
Because that's a hard job he has, you guys.
Right. He just wants
hard.
He just wants people to feel the love. I see what the big deal is. Like, lighten up, lady. Lighten up.
All right. And then one more, because we got to have an animal. We can't not have an animal. And this is an animal. And I hope RFK Jr. sees it.
Oh my God. What a beautiful bear.
Isn't it gorgeous?
It's like a Weimaraner bear.
Yes.
So gorgeous.
Russians and their bears, man.
When he's done with that watermelon, he's going to eat that dude. He better not run out of watermelon.
I mean, his head is pretty watermelon size, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, so cute. I would totally.
So listen, if I can't do DDs, I may just every once in a while, I'll just start showing you guys pictures of my cows or something.
Oh yeah, it needs to be something. People, I mean, they're not going to tolerate not having.
Opie's entertaining. Opie's really entertaining. I'll just start getting pictures and video of Opie. All right.
Perfect. And then we have 2 thanks to give out. Tim Griffiths, thank you. He says, over a foot of rain in my Bluffton backyard over 24 hours, Mock. Lots more coming. We're doing okay with great drainage. Flooding will affect many in South Carolina. I know I'm watching, but I was telling Daisy, I now have access to a cam, like a webcam that is, you know, it's a Beaufort County webcam. They have them all over the city and I can see how it's doing. So at least I feel like I can see. I can't do anything, obviously, to stop it.
But you're like, is it flooding? Is it not flooding?
Right. Is it flooding? Stuart the Brit also says Biden just gave $239 million to the Taliban. Thanks, America. Stuart, you should have been watching yesterday's show because we talked about that in yesterday's show. And now I know you skipped one. And that hurts my feelings.
God, Stuart, she's going to spank you.
Am I going to have to like bring some bad news? Going to have to hire John, the bad news breaker?
Don't make her come over there, Stuart.
Anyway, that is your show for today. Your talks for
guys.
today.
Look at us. We went past 2 hours.
Barely, but we did.
I know we did it, you guys.
And we still had a swoon. Like we did all the things.
That's true. Listen, tomorrow is our last show of the week. Okay. So tomorrow is basically our Friday. So today is basically Thursday.
That's right.
I'm not trying to screw with your brain, but just, try to soak all that in. You guys have a wonderful Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.